Guys, welcome to day two of building an application in 7-day challenge. So, in day two, we are going to design and set up the whole admin dashboard. That is basically the backend of UX boot. So, if you head over to Figma file, we are going to design everything only for the admin part. All right. So, this is going to be a really long lesson. So, sit tight. I hope you have coffee or something with you because we are not going to get up until unless we set up this whole admin dashboard. All right. And by setting up, I mean designing and setting up the database as well. All right. So without wasting any time, let's get into this. So before we start this, we do need to add our admin, that is Max, into our database. And we are going to create a new page called as test. The reason I'm doing this is because we are going to be testing our application, okay, moving forward. So we are going to be switching profiles. So for that, I'm just going to, make a test page so that I can know like I'm logged in as who, and I can just log out immediately. I'm just going to make this as fixed width. Let's also add 400 as height. Okay, let's center this as well. I'm going to drop a text. This is going to be email, current users email, and let's add, my bad, rogaf of 24, and let's add a button that's gonna log out. Perfect. So once I click on log out, I want to be log the user out and navigate him to login page. Okay, so now let's log out. Okay, because yeah, so let's sign up Max. I know we're going to be signing up Max as student, but in the backend we're going to make the changes. Roberts at the rate uxboot.com. I'm just going to set a password for him. Let's sign him up. From the asset file, just use Max's avatar. Designation is going to be CEO. I'm just going to leave the about section blank because he's a admin. And just click on save and next, and ideally I must be directed to home. Now let's just log out. So I'm just going to use our test page. As you can see, I'm logged in as Max. Let's just log out and we are directed to login page. Now in the back end, let's do a hard refresh. There's Max. So I'm just gonna change his role to admin and we are good to go. Before that, let me just, my bad. Let me just copy his email ID and let's see if our workflows are working. So I'm just going to open our login page. Let's test this out and I should be directed to dashboard. Okay, so we are good to go. Now let's see our Figma file. So we have dashboard set up like this. So let's first set the skeleton, design this thing, and later on we're gonna add the database. All right. So head back to Bubble Editor, click on dashboard. Let's get rid of this text. Now, as you can see, we have a navigation tab over here, which is a width of 240. So we are going to use a floating group for this. Also, let me check the width. Width is 1440. And height, let's stick with 800. Okay, so this is going to be floating group nav. We're going to be setting the container layout as column because we're stacking elements. Width is going to be 240. Min height is going to be 0 and uncheck this because I want this to flow with the height of the page. Click on appearance and let's change the background color to solid green, that is our primary color. Now let's see the padding. Okay, so on top and bottom we have a padding of 32 and on edges we have 16. All right, so let's add a padding of 32 on top and bottom, and on left and right is going to be 16. Now let's drop a image over here because we have a image and then we have a group over here. This is a group. So from your asset file, just upload logo white. Click on layout. Width is going to be 32. Check this box. On the floating group now, let's add a row gap of 24. All right. Let's also drop a group over here. Let's call this now dashboard. Min width is going to be 0. Min height is going to be 35 because if we check in our Figma file, height is 35. And we have a roundness of 6. So let's head back to appearance. Let's add a background style of our primary color. Roundness is going to be 6. And let's also add a row gap of 6 and padding of 6 all around the edges. So over here we have used an icon. So I usually use an icon library called as hero icons. They have really good icons, and Bubble also has a plugin for it. So click on plugins, click on add plugins, and over here just search for hero icons. And we're going to install this one, which is built by Minimum Studio. Just install this. Let's head back. And from here, we are going to drop a outline icon inside nav dashboard. And from here, just search for square. And we're going to use this one, square 2 by 2. Just copy the name, paste this over here, select this. Let's change the color to white. And in layout, let's make this 21 by 21. Now let's drop another text, and we forgot to change the container layout of nav dashboard. So this is going to be row because we are stacking elements horizontally. Okay, this is going to be dashboard, and let's make this semi bold and make this white. Click on layout. Let's get rid of min width and min height as well. All right, and let's make this last. Oh, so the column gap is going to be 6 and not the row gap because we had changed the container layout. Okay, let's center these two elements so that it's perfectly center aligned. Now we are going to add a workflow. All right, basically we are going to navigate the user again to dashboard page. Data to be sent is going to be current user, and we are going to be sending parameters to page. Now we are using parameters because we are going to set a condition on different groups. All right, so the main idea is we are building a single page application. We are not building multiple page applications. So if I click on dashboard, I'm going to be navigated to the dashboard page. If I click on bootcamps, I'm going to be directed to a bootcamp page. No, we're not going to do that. We are going to build a single page application. All right, so for that, let me just zoom in, and we are going to check this box, and we are going to add a key which is going to be v, and over here we are going to use dashboard dash a. Now this is case sensitive. All right, one thing to notice: if you want to secure your app, be sure to use a unique and a complicated key and its value. Okay, because if you are using a SaaS application, and if you're using if you're going to build it on a single page application, then anyone can hack your view. All right, so make sure you complicate it. All right, Just for this use case, I'm just going to simplify this so that it's easy for you guys to understand. Okay, so let's head back to design. Make sure we use nav dashboard. Okay, click on condition, and over here we are going to get data from URL because parameters are set in URL. So just type for get data from page URL. Over here, parameter name is going to be v. Click on close. So get v from page URL is dashboard A. Again, case sensitive. Make sure you do not mess this up. When this is true, the background color is going to be white with an opacity of 10. So basically, I just want to highlight that navigation tab and notify the signed up user that you are on a dashboard page. All right, or dashboard view. Okay, now I'm going to drop another group over here. Let's call this group dashboard A. All right, just to notify that this is dashboard for admin. In appearance, okay, in layout, min width is going to be 0, min height is going to be 0 as well, and check fit height to content. We are going to add a left margin of 240 because we have a navigation over here. All right, we don't want elements to overlap each other. Let's also add a padding of 32 all around the edges. So I don't want this group to be visible on page load, and let's check this box that is collapsed when hidden. Now let's drop a text field inside of this group, and let's call this as group dashboard. I'm just going to show you what we are doing, and later on we are going to build this whole thing up. All right, I'm just going to make this as heading 4 for time being. 0 0. All right, so ideally this is going to be hidden, and we are going to set a condition. So I'm just going to copy the condition from our nav dashboard and paste this over here. So when this is true, this element is visible. So let's refresh this. All right. So right now our group dashboard is hidden. Also, you can see this is not highlighted. So if I click on nav dashboard, there we go. We have a group dashboard visible. Also, you can see in the URL over here, it's you can see the parameter over here. It's b is equal to dashboard hyphen a. So it's working. Now let's set things up for other tabs as well. So make sure you select nav dashboard, click on edit, click on copy special, copy with workflows, click on floating group nav, again click on edit, paste special, paste with workflow. There we go. Now let's call this as nav bootcamp. Let's change this and make this bootcamp. This is going to be a desktop or something. So let's check for computer. Yeah, computer desktop. Let's make change over here. Let's repeat the same thing. I'm just going to copy this, copy special, copy with workflows. Select floating group now, paste special, paste with workflow. This is going to be students. And for this, academic cap. There we go. Let's copy special again, paste special. This is going to be registrations. And over here it's going to be ticket. So let's copy the name and let's change the icon over here. And last but not the least, we have team members. For this, I think it was something user group. If I'm not wrong, let me just confirm. Yeah, it's user group. All right. So I'm just going to again do the same thing. Let's copy special with conditional expression. I'm just going to hide group dashboard A, and I'm going to paste special with conditional express. Let me just check. It didn't work. Okay, let's do this again. Copy special, copy conditional expression. I'm just going to hide this. Select dashboard, click on edit, copy special with conditional, paste special, paste conditional expression, and there is a bug. Anyway, I'm just going to copy with workflows. And let's see if this works now. Now it works. Wow. This is going to be group bootcamp. Again, let's call this as bootcamp. Let's change the condition over here. This is going to be bootcamp. Again, in the workflow, edit workflow. This is going to be bootcamp. Similarly, let's change this. Have we changed the name for this? Yeah. This is going to be nav students. Even over here, we are going to change this to students. And in the workflow as well, just make sure you're changing it in that respective nav tab. So for students, v is equal to b students. For registration, nav registrations. I'm just gonna go with register. All right. Click on appearance, edit workflow. This is going to be register. And finally, we have team members. So nav team member is going to be TM. And in the workflow, we are going to make this as TM. All right. Now let's start setting up these groups. Again, copy special, copy with workflows. For this, let me just check. Oh yeah, we forgot to change the condition for group bootcamp. There we go. Now let's hide this. Let's paste this again. This is going to be students. Over here, this is going to be students. Okay. Let's change this to students. Again, you can right click and click on copy special, copy with workflow, hide this, and paste special with workflows. This is going to be group registrations. I'm just going to change this name, group registrations. And this is going to be register. Again, copy special, copy with workflows. Let's hide this group and let's paste with workflow. This is going to be Team members. TM members. Okay, let me just check. Okay, so now we are going to group these now tabs together into a column with a row gap of 12. Let me check if it's 12 or 6. Yeah, it's 12. And let's call this group now tabs. All right. Now let's test this out. So ideally we are able to see dashboard. That's what dashboard is highlighting. Bootcamp, v is equal to bootcamp student, registration, team members. Perfect. Now without wasting any time, let's start setting up our group dashboard first. So we have this group with our text, this text, and we have few cards as well. All right. So let's hide this. Let's bring up group dashboard. And over here, let's call this as hi current users name with exclamation. And let's also add one more text over here. This is going to be dashboard with a font size of 10 and semi bold. I'm just going to pin this font color of 10 semi bold. Color is going to be our column or table header color. There we go. Click on layout, min width 0, min height 0. What else do we have? That's it. And this is grouped into a group with a row gap of 6. So let's make this first and let's group these two together into a column container with a row gap of 6. No need of naming this group, it's fine. Let's add a row gap of 48 in our group dashboard A. All right. Now let's add a text field over here, which is going to be this one, bold 12. All right. This is going to be sales. Let's make this 12 semi bold, and this is going to be our secondary primary color. Close this, make this 0. I'm just going to use this text and copy this over here. And this is going to be, for time being, let's just use a dummy data. Okay. Now we are going to group these two together into a column container with a row gap of 24. Min height is going to be 0. And let us check the padding over here. So we have a padding of 32 all around the edges. Okay. So let's add a padding of 32. And let's also add a border with our border color with a roundness of 6. And let's call this as group card 1. Okay, looks good. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Again, copy and paste. Let's undo this. Copy and paste. Now let's call this as group card 2, which is going to be live boot camps. And these are going to be, I'm just going to go with 4 as of now. And let's go with group card 3. Let's name this as group card 3, and this is going to be students, basically number of or count of students. which is, I'm just going to go with a random number. Okay, so we are going to group these three cards into a row container with a column gap of 21 and a row gap of 12. We are setting the row gap because in the next lessons we are going to make our app responsive. So that's when the row gap is coming, going to come in handy. Let's call this group as group card row actually. Okay, so we are going to group these two together into a column container with a row gap of 24. Min height is going to be 0. There is a bug, I guess, and that's where it automatically sets a min height of 60. I don't know. But yeah, let's call this as group section 1. Okay. Now let's see what do we have over here. Okay, so we have table element and some sort of a heading. All right, so we have already built this if you remember. So I'm just going to head back to index. I'm just going to copy this group, again head back to dashboard, pull up group dashboard A and paste this over here. All right, let's make this as heading 4. Oh, shoot, this one. This is going to be heading 5 actually. All bootcamps. And let's add a placeholder over here. Explore and manage all your bootcamps effortlessly. That's done. Let's also add a button over here, which is going to be add bootcamp. Click on this. Uncheck fixed width. Min width is going to be 0. Let's make it fit height to content. Height is going to be 40. And now let's group these two together into a column. Into a row. I was just testing you guys. Let's add a row gap of 12. No need of adding a column gap. We are going to set container alignment as space between. All right. And let's center this as well. Let's center this too. And let's select group S or whatever this group is called. Let's call this as group title and get rid of min height. Every time you're grouping, just make sure you get rid of min height, okay? If you're getting this bug. Okay. Now it's time to set up the table. Now for that, we are going to set a option set. There's just going to be a test option set just to display some data, okay? And there's just going to be some numbers. Yeah, let's go with 5 as of now. Now from here, we are going to drop a table element. This is still in the beta version. So let's drop this over here. Let's call this bootcamps. Click on layout and check fixed width. Min width is going to be 0. Min height is going to be 0 as well. And check fit height to content. Over here, let's add our... Actually, there is no need of vertical separators. We just need horizontal separators. We're going to stick to our design. As you can see over here, we don't have any vertical separators. All right. Okay. Now it's time to set things up. So this row, the background style is going to be a flat color, and this is going to be our table BG. All right. And over here, let's start adding left and right padding of 12. Make sure you add left and right padding. Again for this cell as well. All right. Whew. We are getting an issue. Yeah. So type of content over here is going to be test OS. Data source is going to be all test OS. Of course, we are going to change this later on, but for time being, let's just use this. We are going to drop, actually, you know what? Let me just drop a text over here. I'm just going to use this, copy this, and paste this over here. And of course, this is going to be 12 and not 10. Let's center this as well, and let's call this as bootcamp name. Let's do the same thing over here. This is going to be course type. Then we have duration, price, and status. I forgot. Okay, course type. Happens, guys, happens. Course type. I'm gonna set this as duration. Before we add few more columns, let's set few things over here. So we have an image. We have a group which is set as a row, but inside it we have one more group with two text with which is basically stacked as columns. So first, let's you build this text elements. So again, let's center this, and this is going to be, I'm just going to copy this, which is 14 and semi bold. So let's make this semi bold. Click on layout, min width 0, min height 0. I'm just going to copy this and paste this in this cell. As of now, it's fine. I'm just going to move this over here. Let's select these two text elements. Let me just check. Okay. Also, let's center this. Okay. So now we are going to select these two elements, right click, group elements into a column container with a row gap of 6. Min height is going to be 0. Looks good. Looks clean. I'm just going to copy this. As you can see, this is a really big text, but we are going to truncate this. This is how it's going to use, but there is a simple trick to truncate text in Bubble. So for that, so as you can see, we have a font size of 14. So click on layout, and we are going to add a height of, let's go with 24. Let's see. Yeah, and there we go. And there it's truncating. Okay, so just use the font size and just double it, and you can test around 24, 20, 22, and you will be able to figure out a perfect fixed height. Now we are going to drop a image field. All right. Now over here, I'm just going to upload something from our asset file. I'm just going to use this one. It looks way too big. I don't know if you are able to hear my stomach. I'm really hungry. Anyway, so as you can see, the width is 86 over here. So let's make this 86. All right, and let's check on keep element aspect ratio fixed. Actually, let's make this 90. All right, let's center this, and let's also add a roundness of 6 over here. Let me just see how this looks. It doesn't look that great. Let's set this as 3 by 6. Oh no, sorry, 6 by 3. Nah. Let's make this 9 by 6. looks better. Yeah. So over here we are going to add a column gap of 6. Perfect. Now let's set up different other things. Course type over here. Again, this is going to be, we can make this as medium or regular. Let me see what I have done over here. It's regular. So let's stick with regular. This is going to be part time. Just going to copy this, paste this over here. Duration is going to be 8 weeks. Now let's select this column, right click, copy column, again right click, paste column to right. Let's see what do we have over here. We have price and status. So let's paste one more column to right. So this is going to be price, and the last one is going to be status. Let's get rid of this hyphen. This is going to be price, so let's use $99. For status, what we are going to do actually, we are going to create a chip. All right, so the font size is 10. All right, and we do have a shape over here. So let's change this to live. Let's make this 10, and it's semi bold. So let's make this to semi bold, change color to our primary color. And we are also going to drop a shape over here inside this. Let's make this 100, and this is going to be 8. Let's keep element aspect ratio fixed. Actually, let's make this 10. Let's center this, and let's add our primary color. Okay, so here's what we are going to do. We are going to select our live text live, click on layout, make this fit width to content, and let's also actually center this. I don't want this to be left aligned. Select these two elements, right click, group element into a row. Let's add a column gap of 4. Let's call this group chip. All right. And let's get rid of min height as well. And let's see. We have a total padding of 10 all around the edges. So let's add 10 over here, all around the edges. Click on appearance. Let's add a background color of a primary color with an opacity of 10. Let's also add a solid border with a roundness of 100. And the color of the border is going to be our primary color. And let's make this fit width to content. There we go. Actually looks too small. Let's set this as 50. Let's see how 50 looks. Nah, let's go with 100. 70. Actually, forget it. Let's just make this fit width to content. On top and bottom, let's make this 5. I don't know. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, now it looks better. All right. So for this column, let's see the width that we are using. So we're using 500 as the width over here. So let's make this 500. Looks way too big. Let's make this 400 actually. Okay, looks good. I'm going to select the whole table. Click on appearance. Let's add a solid border of our with our border color. What else? Let's change the height as 50. Let me check if it's 50 or yeah, it's 40 actually. So let's make this 40 and this is going to be 80. Actually, let's stick with 70. Let's see how this looks. All right. And in appearance, we are gonna uncheck this, set fixed number of repeating rows. There we go. And now let's group these two elements, that is group title and our table. Right click, group elements into column container with a layout with a row gap of 24. And I also noticed one thing. Let's name this as section 2. Let's expand this. Let's pull up our table bootcamp. And over here, check this, that is fit height to content. So now you are able to see this. Click on group dashboard A and let's check fit height to content. And let's also change the container alignment of dashboard to be top aligned. Now let's see how this looks. Looks good. Actually, let's make this as 80. Let's go with 80. 80 looks good, but let me just refresh this and let's see how this is going to look. Actually, it looks pretty good. Yeah, we can work with this. So for this, yeah, it looks good. So now moving on, we are going to set up our boot camp. So for that, let's copy these two sections. Right click, click copy, and over here, let's just hide group dashboard A. Let's pull up group bootcamp. Let's get rid of this. And over here, we are going to copy this. What is going on? Gosh. Let's do this again. Copy. I think there was a group over here. Anyway, make sure you copy that. Let's pull up our. Oh, shoot. Just head back. Oh, that was our group bootcamp actually. And over here, just paste this. Okay. Now we are working with it. I'm just going to use this text over here. Paste this in this group. Let's make this first. I'm just going to get rid of group section 1 and let's call this as group section 1. All right, now we're working. This is going to be bootcamp, all bootcamp. This is fine. So for this, instead of using a table element, we are going to use a repeating group. Okay. All right. Oof. So let's get let's select this group section 1 and let's uncheck this. Let's make it fit height to content. Let's get rid of min height as well, which also reminds me that there must be a min height on this group as well. Damn, this bug. I'm starting to hate this bug. Seriously. Okay. Let's hide this. Let's pull up group bootcamp. I'm gonna get rid of this whole table. Now let's add a repeating group over here. Let's call this repeating group bootcamps. Appearance table, type of content is going to be test OS. Data source is going to be test OS as well. We are going to uncheck set fixed number of rows because we don't know how many rows we need, right? We're going to set this as dynamic. So over here, we're going to use 100%. We do know columns. We need just 3 columns. And we need a separator with a width of 21. And color is going to be pure white. No need of the ugly border. Also in the layout, let's and min width is going to be 0, min height is going to be 0, and check fit height to content. We do need some space to work with. So let's see what do we have in our Figma file. So we do have an image. All right. So let's first drop an image over here. And check fixed width. Min width is going to be, let's make this as, actually let's see what do we have over here. It's 340 by 225. Right, so let's make this 225. And let's add a roundness of 6 as well. Let's make it 5. And let's add a static image over here. Again, from the asset file, you can just use anyone. Anything works. Let's make this as 4 by 2, 4 by 2. See? Yeah, actually 4 by 2 works. Yeah. Now let's add, I think we had a chip over here. Yeah. So we already worked on this. So we're just going to bring up our chip, group chip, copy this. Let's hide this whole group again. And let's paste this over here. What else do we have? We have 2 text fields over here. This is 18, so I'm just going to drop a text. And I'm just going to copy this name. And let's make this as 18 semi-bold. Min width 0, min height 0. I'm just going to copy and paste this again over here. And this is going to be the duration week and online. So I'm just going to copy this and paste this over here. What else do we have? We have some text field over here. So I'm just going to drop a text, copy this. This is basically the tagline of that bootcamp. And we are going to use the same trick that we used for truncating. So let's see if it's 14. Let's see how this looks. Nah, let's go with 50. Yeah, 50 works. Now we are going to drop one more repeating group over here because we do have image field over here of the tools that we are going to use. So for that, let's get rid of min height and actually let's uncheck this. We are just going to use one row and column. Let's, for time being, let's set 3 columns. Obviously we're going to set this later. And let's drop a image over here. All right. So from the asset file, just use any one image. I'm just going to stick with Figma over here. And let's make this 32. Let's keep element aspect ratio fixed. Click on appearance. I want this to be perfect round. So roundness is going to be 100. Let's also add a solid border with our border color. There we go. Now let's select repeating group and let's check fit height to content. Let's also get rid of this ugly separator that we have over here because we don't need separator. And if you look at the design over here, it's overlapping and we can set that thing up. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to set a left margin of minus, let's see, let me divide 32 by 2, which is 16. I suck at maths, by the way, guys. Yeah, I'm not that good. There we go. And let's make this fit width to content. And over here, we are going to set a condition which is going to be as current cell, oh, sorry, current cell index. Make sure you select the repeating group. Let's call this as logo. Current cell index is less than 1. Then the left margin is going to be 0. Also, let's get rid of this border as well. Let's see, what do we have? We also have a button over here, ghost button. So let's drop a button. This is going to be ghost button. Let's call this as edit. Click on layout and check fix width. Min width is going to be 0. Min height is going to be 40. Now let's group all these elements together into a column because we are stacking them with a row gap of 24. Let's call this group bootcamp card. Let's get rid of min height as well. Now let's start grouping more stuff. So we're going to group these 3 elements again into a column container with a row gap of 6. Is it 24 or it's 12? Let me just check. It's 24. And then we have grouped these 2 elements together. So again, select these 2, right click, group elements into a column container with a row gap of 12. Min height is going to be 0 for this as well. Let me just check if it's 12. Yeah, it's 12. And let's add a padding of 24 inside our group bootcamp card. Let's add a roundness of 10 and let's add a solid border with our border color. Select repeating group bootcamp. Click on layout and let's check fit height to content. Let's also select group section 1. Let's make this fit height to content. Select group bootcamp, again fit height to content. Let's see how this looks. This is fine. If I click on bootcamp, there we go. Looks good, looks clean. We are not able to see this logo over here. And instead of having 3 columns, let's make this 4. Let's see how, let's just stick to 3 actually. For this, let me check what's the issue. Minus 16. Ah, let's make set type of content at test OS. Data source is going to be all test OS. And now let's see. It's still moving to the left margin. Okay, I got the issue. I'm just going to copy this expression and remove this. I'm going to select the first one, paste this over here. Left margin is going to be 0. Let's see this, if this works. Okay. Ah, my bad. So let me just check over here. Oh, let's get rid of this margin on the repeating group logo. Select our image. Let's call this image logo. Call this as tool image logo. And let's add a left margin of minus 16 over here. All right. And now let's see. Oh, yeah, when current cell index is 0, just paste this over here, is 0. Left margin is going to be 0. Okay, wait a minute. It's okay, this is good, this is good. Okay, because I'm developing this app along with you guys, so the moment I come across some error, we can just rectify it. And this is bound to happen, guys. Okay. Okay. So let's make this minus 16. Current cell. Let's get rid of this whole condition. Current cell index is 0. Okay, let's remove all the condition from the repeating group and the logo. Okay, in the logo, we are going to set a left margin of minus 16, and we're going to set a condition which is going to be current cell index is 0, then left margin is 0. Now let's see, this should work. Let's make this as 1. Let's see. Yep, it was 1. My bad, guys. My bad. It's going to be 1. So now it's looking good. Perfect. So we're done with this. Let's also add a pop-up. So when user clicks on add bootcamp, we are going to show the user a pop-up. So for that, from here, just scroll down and let's pull up a pop-up. Let's call this add bootcamp. And the layout is going to be column because we're stacking them. Now let's check the Figma file. So I'm just gonna scroll down. Let's see, we have a pop up for adding new boot camps. Let's start replicating this. So we have used design before in the sign up page, if you remember. So for that, let's head over to index. I'm going to copy this, head back again to dashboard. Let's pull up pop up add bootcamp, and let's add a row gap of 24, and let's also add a padding of 24 all around the edges. Because if you check the Figma file over here, we have a padding of 24 all around the edge and a row gap of 24 as well. Let's also make min height as 450 because I need some space to work. And let's paste this. This one is going to be 24. And let's call this add new bootcamp. Let's add a subtext as well, which is enter bootcamp name and title, tagline. There we go. Now again, head back to index. I'm just going to copy this whole group. Head over to dashboard. And let's see. We just need two things over here. So first one is going to be boot camp name. This is going to be enter boot camp name, and this is, let's also change the element name, and this is going to be tagline. So for tagline, we are going to use the multi-line field, which was in onboarding for students. I'm just going to copy this instead of going ahead and tweaking the whole thing. We don't have that much time. Enter bootcamp tagline. Let's get rid of this whole thing. Let's use tagline. What else do we have? We have a next button over here. So let's drop a button. Next. Click on layout and check fixed width. Min width is going to be 0. Min height is going to be 40. Let's select our pop-up add boot camp, and let's make min height as 0 because I want it to be fit to its content. And now we're gonna set the workflow on next button. Okay, so we're gonna add a workflow. Let's just get rid of these two. Okay, button next. We are going to create a new thing, which is going to be bootcamp. We are gonna add the bootcamp name, which is input bootcamp names value. We do need tagline, which is multi-input taglines value. After this, we are going to set a slug. Slug is basically a unique ID. I don't want it to be a number. I want it to be the name of the bootcamp. All right. So here, going to be result of step 1. Slug is going to be input bootcamp names value. Then we are going to reset the input, then hide the pop-up, and then we are going to navigate to a new page. All right. So click on navigation, go to a new page, and over here we are going to make a new page called as edit bootcamp. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this page. I was just testing few things, so that's why. Even those two workflow, if you noticed that I deleted, I was testing a way to enhance the user experience. Okay. So yeah, dashboard, button next, go to page, create a new page, edit bootcamp. We're going to select edit bootcamp from here. Data to be sent is going to be a result of step one. It's going to throw us an error because again, we haven't set the type of content on the boot edit bootcamp page. So for that, if you can see, there is one error, right? I'm just going to show you how this works. You can click on that button and it resolves the error. But just gonna show you. So over here we have this page type of content. Just the moment I change this to bootcamp, there we go. We have zero issues. Anyway, now that we are on this page, let's set this to column 1440900. I'm just going to center this, add a text, and this is going to be current page bootcamp's name. Let's center this as well, and let's make this heading 5. I just want to show you how the whole workflow is going to look. All right. Okay. Let's head back to dashboard. Click on workflows button next. So we are sending him to the edit bootcamp page. Now, how do we show the pop-up? Right. So for that, we have two buttons on group dashboard. We are going to set a workflow, which is going to be show pop-up add bootcamp. I'm just going to copy this, head back to design, and let's hide this group, and let's bring up group bootcamp again, add a workflow, and just right click and paste the workflow. It's the same workflow because the use of the button is somewhat similar. And I was just testing out few things, so let me just go ahead and get rid of this record that I was testing out. Okay, let's refresh. So if I click over here, there we go. The pop-up is working. If I go to bootcamp, if I click over here, again it's working. So let's create a dummy pop-up for time being, just for testing purpose. I'm gonna use Lorem Ipsum as my tagline. I wouldn't suggest you to go for it, but yeah. Actually, we can make it more. You know what? Instead of setting it to 100, you know what? Let's stick to it. Yeah. Let's click on next. And there we go. This is the slug that I was talking about. So we have set the slug, and you can see as of now we are on the edit bootcamp page, and we are on this particular bootcamp that we just created. There we go. It's that simple, guys. Now that this is working, let's see what do we have next. We need to work on students. Now, if you notice, this is repetitive. So this won't take that much time. We just need to make few tweaks in the table UI. That's it, and then we are good to go. So let's head back to dashboard. Let's hide our group boot camp, but before that, I just need to copy this. So let's copy. Let's hide this group boot camp, and let's pull up group dashboard. Group students. Sorry, group students. Let's get rid of this. Again, make sure you select group students, click on edit, and paste it. And this is going to be students. Over here, this is going to be all students. And over here, this is going to explore and manage all your students effortlessly. We are not going to use any button over here, so let's just get rid of this button. Let's also add a row gap of 24. Now we have used this table element in our group dashboard, so we are just gonna copy and paste it and save our time. There we go. Right click, copy, add this group, bring up group students. I was just checking few things and just right click and paste it. There we go. Now this is going to be table students. So let's see. Max width is going to be. Do we need a max width for this? No, actually, there's no need of max width. So let's just make this 0. So we have name, email, designation, role, status. I'm still going to forget it, but still, let's go. Name. See, I told you email, designation. What else do we have? And role. All right. So this over here, we are going to upload a static image. Just use. I'm just going to use Shasha's image over here, and this thing is going to be 32 pixels, and it's going to be perfectly round. This is going to be name, so I'm just going to go with Sasha words, and this is going to be words 1, 2, 3. Over here, we're going to make this as 12. Yeah, 12. Also, I remembered we didn't set this as 12. Okay, so let's do that as well. Okay. And let's make this 4. Actually, let's make this 40. Yeah. So before we do that, let's just make changes over here. This is going to be 24. That's fine. Let's make this 12. Same goes with our group boot camp. This thing is going to be 12. Now it looks good. Let's pull up this. Let's capitalize this. Okay. So over here, email is going to be the email Sasha words at the rate example.com. Designation is going to be junior UI designer. Role is going to be student. And over here, this is going to be active. Let's see how this looks. Also, one thing, height is 40. Let's make this 50. And now let's see. Looks good. Looks good. Let's do the same thing, but before that, select group students, check fit height to content. Let's do the same thing. Right click, copy. Let's hide group students and let's bring up group registrations. Make sure you select group registrations. Get rid of this. Again, make sure you have selected group registrations. Right click, paste. This is going to be registrations. Over here, this is going to be all registrations. And over here, we are going to make use of the subtext, that is explore and manage your bootcamp registration effortlessly. What else do we have? We have this table over here. Just going to copy and Paste this over here. I'm just going to undo this. Okay, let's hide this. Let's bring up group students. Copy. Bring up group registrations. And paste. This is going to be registrations. Let's see, what do we have? We have registration ID, name, event, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's start building this. Registrations ID, student name, event, price. What else do we have? Enrollment type, location type. Oh yeah, this is going to be enrollment type. Okay, so we do have this over here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy these two elements and paste this over here. Let's make this first. And this was supposed to be the email. Again over here, let's make this as 20, 24. Let's make this fixed width. And there it is. I'm just going to copy this, get rid of this whole thing over here, and paste this. This is going to be the registration ID or ticket ID. So I'm just going to enter a random number over here. Event is going to be the name of the event to which they have enrolled for. Even for this, we are going to do the same thing. 24. For price, it's going to be $99. Enrollment type, it's going to be part-time. And let's copy this and paste this over here. Let's get rid of this whole chip. Location type is going to be online, if I'm not wrong. Yup. One thing I noticed, this is all the text elements over here are medium, and I think we have set them as regular. So let's go ahead and make them medium. It won't take much time, guys. There we go, done with this. Let's hide this. Let's work on this as well. Medium, let's make everything medium. Okay. We're good with group students. Let's hide this. Did we work on registrations? Yeah. Dashboard. Medium. 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 Boom. Let me just check over here. Okay. Registrations are fine. Oh, we do need to add a column gap over here. So pull up group registrations, and over here for this cell, let's add a column gap of 6. Actually, let's make it 4. Or let's go with 6. All right. Let's see. Yeah, now it looks better. Even here, even for this, let's set up a min height. Okay, so for this, let's make height as 60. Same goes for other tables as well. For students, let's make it 60. Let's give it some room to breathe. All right. Okay, looks better than before. Students, bootcamps, registrations. Now we're gonna work on team members. Whew, finally. For registration, we forgot to check this box. Okay, let's do the same thing. Actually, I'm just going to, you know what, let's copy one by one. I don't want to mess things up. Let's pull up group team members. I'm gonna delete this. Paste this over here. Let's call this team members. All team members. And this over here is going to be, you already know it. Oh, we do have a button. God damn. Let's just, for timing, let's just add this table over here. And let's hide a group registration. And let's pull up group dashboard. And from here, we're going to select this one. This is the group. Make sure you select group team members. Paste it. Let's make this first. Copy this text element. Make sure you selected this group. Paste it. Let's make this first. Change this to team members. Now, before I confuse and overwhelm you guys, I'm just going to hide this. Okay. Now let's start setting this up. All team members. Copy this. Paste this over here. You know what? Let's add a column gap of 24. Just so we know that, there is some space over here. Let's do clustered. Add team member. There we go. Now let's see. We have name, email, designation, role, status. I'm just going to get rid of this. Before that, let's add a row gap of 24. Now let's get rid of column A. Delete. This is going to be name. This is going to be email, I guess. Yeah, email, designation. Role, I feel. And then status. So I'm just gonna enter a dummy thing over here. Again, this is going to be Sasha Woods at the rate. Actually, you know what? Instead of Sasha, let's use Matthew Let's stick to what we have. And this is going to be Matthew. Designation lead UX designer. Role team member. Let's bring up the chip, group chip. Let's hide this again. And this is going to be active. Let's see. Looks good. Let me just make this fit height to content. And as you can notice, we started around afternoon and it's night already. So I'm just gonna switch on my light. It's getting too dark. Aesthetic. Anyway, whew. Now that we are done, let's see how this looks. Looks good, looks clean. Really happy with what we have done over here. We do have to add a user profile credential group over here, so let's do that quickly. So for that, I'm going to use a group over here. Let's call this user credential. Min width is going to be 0, min height is going to be, let's make it 80. I do need some room to work on this. Let's add a background style of flat color with an opacity of 10 and a roundness of 6. In the layout, we are going to add padding of 6 all around the edges. Now here, I'm just going to, before that, the layout, container layout of group user credentials is going to be row, because if you see over here, we are stacking elements horizontally. All right. So let's do this. Copy and paste this over here. This is going to be centered, and this is going to be 32 by 32 instead of 40. Perfect. Now this is going to be dynamic. So let's set this as current users, avatar, process with imagex, resize to fit the dimension by cropping. Make sure you check that. And the run mode rendering is going to be zoom. There we go. What else do we have? Let's also add a column gap of 6. And let's add this group over here inside. This is going to be dynamic again, current users, name, and this over here is going to be current users, email. Let's make this white. And this is going to be medium. So let's change this to medium. And let's also add an icon over here. Let's center this icon, and this is going to be exit or log out. Yep. Arrow left, start. It's a huge ass name, but anyway. And I think there's some issue over here. Let's use this one. Let's see. arrow left rectangle. There we go. Now click on group user credentials, and min height is going to be 0 so that it sticks to the content. Now select floating group nav, click on container alignment, and this is going to be set as space between because we want this to be far wide apart. And as you can see, it's already at the bottom. Now we need to group these two together and with a row gap of 32. So let's select logo. Let's select group now tabs, right click, group elements into a column with a row gap of 32. There we go. Now let's also add a workflow with this. So when user clicks on this button, or you know what? Yeah, on this button, we are going to check this box that is clickable. And let's call this as outline logout. Head over to workflow, click on create a new workflow, click on elements. Outline icon is clicked. Element is going to be outline icon logout. When it's clicked, we are going to log the user out and navigate him to login page. Let's see. Looks good, but I'm not able to see this. So for that, what we can do, let's make this white as well so that it's visible. Let's make this 11 or 10. Let's make this it has a height of 52, so let's make this 52 so it looks proportionate. I don't know, it's gonna look way too big. I knew it. Let's just stick to 32. Let us see. Looks way too small. You know what? Let's just get rid of this email. Yeah. Better than before. So if I click on this, I'm gonna be logged out. But before that, we do need to set a pop-up for adding team members. All right. So let's scroll down here. Invite a member. Pretty simple. Again, we're gonna make use of the existing pop-up that we have. So let me just get rid of this for time being. Let me just hide this. Let's bring this up. Right click, copy, click outside. Right click, paste. And this is going to be pop up invite TM. I'm just going to stick with TM. Now let's quickly make this. This is going to be invite team members, add team member name to your organization. We have name, email, role, designation. This is going to be name. Again, John Doe. Email. Just going to use this. Get rid of this. TM name is going to be input TM email. Set this as email. .com. What else do we have? Role. So instead of using a input field, we are going to use a drop down field. So over here, let's click on, let's first set the name, and this is going to be role. Click on layout and check fixed width. Min width is going to be 0, height is going to be 40. Let's see what do we have over here. Roundness is going to be 6. This is going to be our border color. Select role. And from here, this is going to be a dynamic choice. Type of choice is going to be user role. Choice source is going to be all user role. Option caption is going to be current options display. There we go. Now let's get rid of this one. Again, copy and paste. This is going to be designation. And this is just going to be a text field and not a drop down field. TM designation product owner is going to be text. And let's make this as invite. All right, there we go. Looks good, looks clean. We are going to set the invite workflow tomorrow, because it's going to be I mean, if I do this in this lesson today, it's going to be really difficult for you to understand, because we have already spent more than 1 hour to build this. So I don't want to make you feel overwhelmed. So tomorrow we're going to work on this mechanism, and by that time, let's set bringing up our pop-up for inviting members. So when user clicks on add team member, we are going to show pop-up invite TM. There we go. So if I click on this, looks good. I can see over here, and I can select the designation as well. So tomorrow we are going to design uh, our dashboard for our team members, right? And we're going to work on the invite team members mechanism as well. But before we leave, we are going to set up database. So let's do that as well. So let's first start setting up database for our group dashboard. So let's bring that up. So over here, this is going to be, let's do a search for bookings. I'm going to close this, and we need each prices sum formatted as currency. Decimal place is going to be 0,000. Separator currency is going to be dollar. For live bootcamp, again insert dynamic data. Do a search for bootcamps. Add a constant wherein status is equal to live. There we go. And we need count. For students, again, we are going to do a search for users wherein the user role is equal to team members, and user status is equal to active. Let's close this, and this is going to be again count. For this one, type of content is going to be bootcamp. Data source is going to be do a search for bootcamp. This over here There's going to be dynamic image, which is going to be current row bootcamps, feature image, process with imagex, check this box, close this, run more rendering is going to be zoom. This text over here is going to be current row bootcamps, bootcamp name. This is going to be current row bootcamps tagline. Where is it? Here it is. Course type. Again, current row bootcamps. Course type. Let me check what was course type. Part time. Enrollment type. Okay. This is going to be enrollment type. So let's enrollment type. Let's rectify this as well. There we go. Duration. Current row bootcamps duration. Price. Current row bootcamps price. This is going to be current row bootcamps status display. I know this looks pretty messed up over here, but in the front end it's going to look really good. Dynamic data. Display. Just make sure it's current row displays enrollment types display. Okay. There we go. Moving on. Where is it? Where is this thing? Yeah, let's hide this. Let's bring up group bootcamp. Again, over here, select a repeating group. This is going to be bootcamp. Data source, do a search for bootcamp. Close this. This over here is going to be dynamic image of. Before that, we do need to set data on this group bootcamp card. So this is going to be again bootcamp, current cell bootcamp, and now it's going to reflect properly. Parent group bootcamps, feature image, process with imagex, check this box, remote rendering, zoom. This same thing is going to be bootcamp. Everywhere where we have grouped things, just make sure you change the type of content. All right. Again, this is going to be parent group things. This is going to be bootcamp. Parent group bootcamps. Status display. This over here is going to be parent group bootcamps name. This. Okay. This is going to be parent group bootcamps. Let me just check. This is going to be part-time, so enrollment type. All right. And display. Click outside the box. Hit space. Option and 8 if you are on Mac. Hit space again. This is going to be parent group bootcamps duration. Hit outside the box again. Again inside. Space. Option 8. Space. Parent group bootcamps. Location type? Was it location type? Online. Yeah. Location types display. Over here, this is going to be parent group bootcamps tagline. And this over here is actually going to be, let's do, there's going to be a tool. We are going to do a search for tools wherein bootcamp is equal to parent group bootcamp. Let's close this. And inside this repeating group, select this image. Again, this is going to be a dynamic image, which is going to be current cell tools, tool image, process with images, check this box, run more rendering is going to be zoom. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. For edit, we are going to add a workflow, which is going to navigate the user to edit bootcamp. Data to be sent is going to be parent group bootcamp. Let's hide group bootcamp. Let's move on to next. That is group registration. Again, type of content is going to be, damn, where is it? Bookings. Do a search for booking. This is going to be current row booking, booking ID. This over here is going to be current going to be booking, parent group booking, users name. I'm just going to copy this expression, paste this expression over here. Instead of name, this is going to be email, and this over here again is going to be current row booking, users, avatar, process with images, check this box, run more rendering, zoom. This is going to be current row booking, bootcamp, bootcamp's name. Current row booking, bootcamp, price. Or else you can set this as current row bookings, price. Let's do that. This again is going to be current row booking, enrollment type, but let's just stick with this one. Even for this, bootcamps, price, this thing is going to be bootcamp's name. That's fine. Location type again, current row booking, bootcamps, location type, display. What else? Group students. Let's quickly do this. This is going to be user. Do a search for all user. Wherein user role is equal to team members. That's it. No need of adding display. This is going to be user as well. Current row users name. I'm just gonna make this dynamic. Current row users avatar, process with images, check this box, zoom. This over here is going to be current row users email, current row users designation. By default this is always going to be student, but let's just current row users user role display, and this over here is going to be current row users user status display. Now we're just left with the last part, that is group team members. Let's quickly do this. Again, this is going to be the same thing. User, do a search for user, wherein user role is not equal to team members. Type of content is going to be user for this one. Again, user row, current row users name. This is going to be current row users avatar process with images. Come on, guys, you know this. Display, and this thing is going to be current row users user status display. Okay, now I know we won't be able to see the data and the table is going to be empty. But as you can see, this. We forgot to put for the registration. Let's add a row gap of 24. So this is the dummy one actually, but yeah. Ideally, registration student. Let's quickly see this for registration. Wait a minute. Students. So in students, I should be able to see this. User role. Oh, sorry. My bad, guys. This is going to be students. This over here is going to be not. Yep, now we're good to go. Students, team members. This is just a dummy one that we created in the yesterday in day one. But yeah, but I also noticed by default, whenever a user creates a new bootcamp, it should be active. So let's set that thing up as well. Click next. What do we have? Agenda, duration, end date. Status is going to be upcoming. Let's add one more. Yeah, that's it. I think team tool URL. Yep. So over here in the bootcamp, let's just make a small change over here. Status is going to be upcoming. There we go. So now it's reflecting. Okay. So in the next lesson, we are going to design a dashboard for team members and set up the workflow for inviting team members, basically onboarding them. So I'll see you tomorrow. That is on day 3.